Sky Squad, we are back in the building, baby. We are back in the building. And listen, y'all, we gotta talk about a little bit of Nene news today, and it's I miss the good old days when Nene was just like the headline. Okay, Nene said this, and it just went wild. You know what I'm saying? Those were some of the best days of Housewives. If you guys are wanting to know my opinion about that, but here we are, and we're gonna talk about what she had to say. Before we get into that, we're also gonna discuss Real Housewives of Jersey, the latest episode. Y'all, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Hit that like button if you like reality TV related content. As you guys know, we do have a trip to Thailand coming up. We've got Bali in September. We still have a few more spaces open for that. Early bird is almost up for Thailand. You get $200 off the pricing, and it only requires a 25% deposit. And tonight is our members only Zoom. Okay, so if you guys have not joined the Sky Squad membership community, click the link down in the description of this video to join. It is simply $6 per month right now. And it's just a great way for you guys to support the channel. And I will be going live tonight with the members on Zoom. And we're going to do like a little birthday celebration. And we're going to talk a little bit about the episode of Basketball Wives and a couple of other neat little announcements that we have coming your way. So tap into that. That will be 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. Feel free to join, have a bottle, get yourself a glass so we can just celebrate and toast in. We made it another year, y'all. Okay. So let's talk about Nene. All right. So what is going on with Nene Leaks? Well, this is being reported everywhere. And so I know that there's already going to be someone who is like, why are you talking about Kenya Moore? Why are you talking about her? Why? What do you have against Kenya Moore? And it's like, what? I don't have anything against this woman. However, if it's something that we have to talk about because it's in the news, we'll talk about it. Simple as that. Okay. That should not bother you. It should not raise your blood pressure, not one little bit. And if so, be mad at People Magazine. Be mad at Page Six. I'm just telling y'all what they said. Okay. So anyway, and speaking of People Magazine, Nene Leaks is not surprised by Kenya Moore's Real Housewives of Atlanta exit. Okay. So basically, they are reporting that Nene Leaks has said this about it. She says that it didn't come as a surprise to her when referring to Kenya Moore's exit. In an interview with E! News published on Friday, July 12th, Nene shared her thoughts after former Miss USA winner departed the Bravo show following an alleged explicit photo scandal. Nene says this: I don't know if I was surprised. I know that over the years, Kenya has always pushed the envelope a little bit. Okay. Now, she says, listen, those girls do a lot of things. I don't think I'm surprised at all. Okay. Um, with regards to the current stars of Real Housewives of Atlanta, or at least some of them from the past, um, that would be Drew Storff, Portia Williams, Phaedra Parks, Sheree Whitfield, Marlo Hampton. Apparently, Nene is on good terms with these ladies. She says, we're not talking every day, but when we see each other, there's no beef, there's no hard feelings. Actually, we laugh about it, which is good to hear. I don't know whether or not that also includes Portia at this moment, because the last time we talked about Nene and Portia, I think I was on vacation, but it was this whole notion that they were supposed to be doing some type of show together, and then Portia backed out at the last minute. So I don't really know. What we do know is that, if you look online, Kenya Moore seems to be living her best life, which, listen, life is short, and that's all you can really do. So I don't blame her not one bit for living it up and taking some time to breathe. I'm sure doing this show for so long and just trying to be the engine that makes the show go round, like, it's got to be tough. So I don't fault her for taking some time away and just kind of enjoying her life as she should. Now, with regards to Phaedra, Nene is actually supportive of the idea that they bring Phaedra back to Real Housewives of Atlanta. She actually basically says that um Phaedra needs to be back. She says Housewives is where the viewers know her from. And to me, if she's going to be on any platform, it should be on the Housewives platform, not Married to Medicine. I think Phaedra would be a good addition again. Okay. Now, you guys know it's Monday, right? And so if you have not caught up on Nene's show, Outrageous Love, it comes on every Monday night at 10 p.m. On Lifetime. So be sure to tune in for that. Okay. Mind you, I'm still hungover a little bit from yesterday, y'all. I was celebrating my birthday, which is actually tomorrow, but we had a little early Ponderosa type situation that led into an all day Ponderosa for which I am still recovering. So forgive me. Okay. Um, so what I will say is our Zoom call tonight is sandwiched in between Basketball Wives at 8, and then we will go live on Zoom at 9, and then you guys will be able to catch Nene Leaks on Outrageous Love with Nene Leaks on Lifetime at 10. Okay. So, with that being said, I want to talk a little bit about, I really don't get really political on this channel at all, except for encouraging you guys to vote. And I've seen just a lot of discourse online these days with people talking about whether or not, your vote really counts. What does it matter? I always say, do your due diligence when you're voting. Vote for the causes that mean the most to you. I'm not here to tell you who to vote for, but I am telling you to vote like your life depends on it because, at some points it does. It affects, I feel like local elections are really, really, really super important. And I cannot highlight the importance it is to rally behind the candidates that speak to you. But these presidential elections, they also really, really matter as well. And with regards to what's happening in the news currently, I do feel like one of the things that we also need to do is, yes, there are messages out there about voting, and I think that's again, it's important to do. But I also think it's important to, galvanize your communities, find safe spaces for you to feel like you can grow and thrive. And one of the things that I have determined that I'm going to do is I am going to be conducting a couple of, I think, Zooms in the next couple of weeks to educate people on the process of getting dual citizenship and investing in property overseas, specifically in South Africa. So if you are interested in that, just type of South Africa in the chatterization down below. This is something I'm I'm extremely excited about it. And I think that it is vital to our community at this point in time to at least start investigating options for ourselves. And I don't come to you with doomsday scenarios because that's not how I was born or brought up to think. For me, I like to think about what are the best options for me in any situation and how do I make any situation work for me. And I think that's what we need to start doing at this point in time. That is my little PSA. All right. So now we're going to talk about the latest episode of The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Now, I got to check my notes real quick to figure out which episode that was. I believe it was episode 11. Let me just check real quick. Episode 11 of season 14. I think it is. And I want to get the episode title for you guys. I should have had it already, but again, your boy, listen. No, this was episode 10, Inner Peace of My Mind. In this episode, I want to kind of, the problem with Real Housewives of New Jersey right now is that we already know what's at the finish line, and that is not going to be a reunion. So I think that there is some excitement that goes into the tradition of a reunion, right? Where at least everybody gets in the same room and Andy holds the group accountable for what has happened during the season, like he tried to do with Potomac. And Potomac, from what I'm hearing, is a much better season in season 9 as opposed to the division of season 8. So I do think that it would have been a great idea to force these people to sit in the same room, and whoever can't do it are the ones who can't come back. And it has to be as simple as that. And unfortunately, I think that this show being mostly centered around Teresa, I think it's probably a no-brainer who would actually stay and who would actually probably go. But I also feel like that doesn't make for the best of shows. So I really do feel like it is up to the network to kind of pull these ladies back together again, because rebooting every show is not the answer. I mean, I'm just gonna let y'all know that now. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of the Real Housewives of New York reboot. And if you are an old school Real Housewives of New York fan, you will be excited to know that the legacy edition of New York City will be airing next month in August. So we do have that to look forward to if you like the original ladies of New York, which to me, there's nothing like them. So that you have to be excited about. But I don't think that they should do that with Jersey. I think that possibly just you're going to have to get rid of half the cast. And I know that people will consider that a reboot, but I just feel like that's a refresh, and it has happened before on this show, and I think it could happen again, and it could probably be very successful if you got the casting right. Now, having said that, if I had to rate this episode on a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably give it a 8.5. It was a good episode. I mean, I watched all the way through. I felt like I understood, the drama that was going on. I feel like, you had the two competing events, not really competing, but you had Melissa's Envy fashion show being focused on, and then you had Teresa's live podcast, which is also very interesting because neither of the two were at each other's events. And so the ladies are kind of forced to, like bop and bebop back and forth to these events and whatnot. And it just feels like, I don't necessarily mind that Teresa and Melissa aren't speaking, so to speak, but I do feel like it does feel odd, right? It just feels like, okay, the cast is allowed to do whatever they want to do and not talk to whomever they want to talk to and never resolve anything. And I feel like Dolores is really the driver with trying to build a bridge for everybody to get back on the right foot, except for Jackie. Okay, I feel like this is what I feel like. I feel like everybody, Melissa included, said, you know what? Jackie is just a friend. They say she's just a friend. Oh, baby, you. Okay. And so you, as the friend, you're not going to get no dress for the Envy fashion show, girl, because you ain't even been to my store in a minute. And I can see you getting buddy-buddy with my arch nemesis. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. We get a conversation that happens between Margaret and Dolores in this episode. And it's interesting to see. I like Margaret, but I think that Dolores understands Margaret. I do think that they are really friends, but I also feel like Dolores is also just aware that Margaret holds a lot of information in the chamber, and it's probably better to stay on her good side. But I do think that if Dolores had to handle Margaret, she probably is one of the only people that could do it in a way that would match Margaret's mental dexterity, right? Because Margaret and Teresa in an argument is to me like Teresa is funny in an argument because I feel like some of the time she doesn't know she's in the argument until she has like a little bit of a delayed reaction. But when she gets fired up, it is 0 to 100, which makes for excellent TV. It does. But I feel like her arguing against a Margaret is really not the best because Margaret to me is fast, right? She's a fast thinker. She's mentally I told y'all earlier, she has this mental dexterity that I don't know that Teresa has when it comes to arguing. And not everybody has that, and that's okay. But that doesn't stop Teresa from being iconic when she does get to that point where she is blowing up, okay? And that's what the people want. Now, having said that, Margaret goes over to Dolores' house because that doggone Jackie had then made it seem like Margaret was talking all this smack about Dolores. So Margaret's mission today is, I need to get over here and I need to let you know that I wasn't really talking smack about you. I was talking smack about your man. I was like, Margaret, Okay. She was like, yeah, I might have said, you know, I don't even think he liked me like that. He liked as much as he liked Teresa and the people. I might have also said if she was still with David, you know, it things wouldn't be the way that they were. I might have said those little things. I don't know, you know, something to that effect. But I wasn't talking about you. I was just talking about your man. Okay. So are we good now? Dolores is like, yes, I forgive you. And I'm like, again, I feel like Dolores is just like, girl, you know what? I ain't trying to fight with you. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with me and my man. Okay. And then Frank over there got this young tenderoni thing that he got with him. And he can't even ask this woman to marry him because I guess they missed their flight to Puerto. How was he pronouncing Puerto Rico? Was he saying Puerto Rico or Puerto Rico? I thought he said Puerto Rico. That's what I thought he said, but I don't know. I gotta go back and watch. Anyway, um, okay, so Danielle Cabral has her kid is going into the into the kids bop thing or something like that. I think is that it? Y'all know the kids bop, I think if this is the same thing, is where they have like the music that be on the radio, but they make it for kids, and then they make these videos and the kids be watching them like they be sometimes real good. Don't ask me why I know. Okay, I done been around some babies. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to, you know, and when you be around the babies, you gotta get educated. Okay. So anyway, so that's going on. You know, Teresa, Melissa first has her Envy fashion show for which some of the girls get outfits and some of the girls don't. Okay. Dolores is not in a Melissa Envy outfit, but she apparently explained to Dolores that she didn't want anybody to feel pressured into wearing them. So I can also understand that. Jennifer Aiden shades Melissa by saying, well, she didn't design any of these fashions. Let me tell y'all this. This is what I don't like. If you're gonna come to the event and you're gonna trash it, just don't go. I mean, in my opinion, now granted, Melissa may not be the designer, but at the end of the day, she is the middleman. So if you're not gonna advertise your business, what is the point in being in business? There are plenty of people who have stores out there that they own that they don't sell, that they pull in merchandise from other distributors and designers and stuff like that, and they sell it, and that's how they make their money. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. That is like what most of, you know, like you're not going to say that about a department store, but Saks Fifth Avenue or Macy's, they will have fashion shows, but you're not coming at them. You're only coming at her because you don't really you don't really like her. You're just basically going to this event because you know that it is going to be the best look for you amongst a divided cast. And I do agree that that is probably the right thing to do. Now, having said that, it is typical housewives to be snarky, and I'm sure that is really what she was trying to say. But the fact that it is Melissa's business, that's just a business model. Like, I don't understand like why you trying to trash that, because it's not like it's not a new business model, right? There are plenty of people out there that are middlemen, and we call it a middleman, but you know, that's just a saying, right? It's a middle person, and she's operating a business. There's nothing wrong with her business model at all. In fact, if I had a store, then I would be holding fashion shows too, so I can let people know what is available in the store. It is the best way to get your marketing and your word of mouth out there and for people to actually see the products. Who wouldn't do that? It doesn't make any sense. But Jennifer, who does not necessarily have a business, can sit there on her throne of judgment, right? You know, and judge, because she's not really doing that herself. And everybody, it ain't for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I was telling y'all, I'm doing this ebook in a day course, and the course is basically meant for you to, if you are, it ain't for everybody. That's number one. This ain't for everybody. A lot of people out there will go and use Chat GPT and all of these other things to come up with a book, and that's fine. But this that I'm offering is specifically for somebody who has their own product, service, or business, or they know something mentally, and they want to be able to leverage what they know to earn an income based on what the framework that I provide for them with this ebook, and they get it done today. They get it done in the day. We're not waiting. You're not going to take weeks to do this. This is something that is meant for you to complete today because, again, as I stated earlier, you need options. Okay, baby? It is not enough to have one stream of income in this day and age. Okay? So if you were somebody that wants to monetize your mind and you want to put your story down in the ebook, I give you the framework to do that. And that is what we do. That is what we're doing. Okay? Let people earn their income the way that they want to earn their income, and you either just support it or you don't, Jennifer. Okay. And I don't mind Jennifer. Listen, Jennifer, I think, has a place on this show. I just feel like it sometimes is very much so that she is under Teresa's thumb. And I think she also needs to just be her own person, which I think for the most part she is. And we see that coming out in this episode because she is definitely upset that Teresa does not have her back with the Danielle Cabral situation. So let's get into that because, Melissa does her fashion show. It is what it is. It's cute. I mean, nobody was saying that about Posh. I mean, and the Posh fashion show was a big deal on Jersey for many years. But nobody was screaming and hollering about the fact that in Posh, I don't know that all of those designs were hers. So at the end of the day, why does that matter? Anyway, I can go down the rabbit hole about why I think that was I just felt like it was tasteless, but whatever. Again, it's shade, fair play, whatever. All right, so the other thing that's going on in this episode is, you know, Jennifer Aiden and Danielle Cabral kind of circling the drain with each other and not really talking until the end of this episode. And when they do talk, it doesn't go well. So that happens at Teresa's live podcast event. All right. So first of all, I will have to say congratulations to Teresa. I don't know what happened with her and that Melissa Feister girl, but I don't think that they are on the same. I don't think that they're doing that podcast anymore. I could be wrong, but I know that Teresa has her own podcast. So I'm wondering like what happened between the two of them. And listen, not all partnerships work. Not every business venture is meant for everybody to, do for the long haul together. And maybe that was a stepping stone that Teresa needed to be able to realize that she could do it on her own. I don't really know. All I know is I don't think they're working together no more, but I could be wrong. Y'all let me know in the chat if y'all listen to that podcast. Okay. I did not. Okay, so the podcast is about to happen. All the ladies that are pro Teresa are there, so you don't have Margaret, you don't have Rachel, and you don't have Melissa or Joe or any of that crowd. But you do have, of course, Jackie is there, I believe. I think Jackie was there, right? Was she there? I can't even remember. I feel like Jackie, I think she was there because Dolores was complaining about her getting on her nerves and overreacting to everything. Yeah, something like that. Because Jackie was upset that maybe was that at Melissa's show? Jackie was upset that she didn't get that Margaret told her she didn't get no, Melissa gave some of the girls dresses. That's what I was saying earlier. I feel like everybody is just kind of like, well, Jackie is just a friend now, so I ain't really got to invite her, and she ain't on our side no more. So, girl, you can get to stepping. Anyway, down to Teresa's event. Jen Fessler is there. Danielle Cabral makes it after her kids bop thing with her kid. Because she want to make sure Teresa knows that she has her support. I'd be like, y'all, it ain't got to be I pledge allegiance to Teresa's flag. But anyway, that's the dynamics of this show. So it is what it is, and I'm gonna let it go. So then you have essentially now at this podcast, it really simplified the idea of what a live podcast is. Okay. Like didn't seem like there was a lot of bells and whistles. Like they was just, having a good old Ponderosa together. And then, like I guess a Q&A and she reading from her diary, dear diary. All I know is don't mess up and leave that diary just rolling around the streets. We saw what happened with Candy and her diary. Anyway, having said all that, the podcast seems to go well. They have a break, and for which they actually go to the back, and it's Teresa, Jennifer Aiden, Danielle Cabral, Dolores, Jackie was there, and did I say Jennifer Aiden? Yeah. So Danielle Cabral starts making these little passive aggressive comments at Jennifer Aiden, who, to her credit, was really just kind of sitting there chilling, like doing nothing. And I don't know if Danielle knew she needed to have some motion in this moment, but I did feel like she instigated a lot of that. And I felt like that moment was supposed to be about Teresa. So Teresa tries to broker some level of peace between them. And Jennifer Aiden is like, no, 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 stop it. It's not going to happen. And I was like, she is getting real feisty with Teresa, but I ain't mad at it because I do feel like you need to see and show the dynamics of friendships. And I like with the conversation that Margaret had with Dolores, we want to see these intense conversations amongst friends when one friend is disappointed in the other. I think that's real. That feels like reality TV to me, and I feel like we get back to that and loosen up on some of the hateration and spilling of storylines and stuff like that that goes allegedly goes on behind the scenes with the show. And I feel like you might have a cast that is willing to work with each other, but at this point in time, it just feels like it's just so divided that it's no coming back from it. So it is what it is. I could complain about that all day, but getting the review is my main purpose in this moment. So, I think Jen Fessler and Jackie get to step in when they get to arguing because, um, at a certain point, I think it's just like Jennifer, Dolores, and Teresa, and Jennifer Aiden is going off at Teresa about how she feels like she don't have her back and how she keeps wanting her to apologize, like, to have a conversation with her. And Jennifer Aiden is also like, you have people in your life that you don't want to make peace with. So why are you telling me I got to make peace with this girl after she hit me upside the head with a cup or whatever like that? And I was like, "Ooh, she got a good point right there." She does have a good point right there. But I do think that Teresa probably felt like it would be easier for y'all to fix y'all's issues because y'all don't have such a nasty history with each other in the way that I feel like the hurt feelings of family is much more intense and different. These two women, like what y'all fighting over, I mean, it's petty and it's so new and it's so fresh that there still could be an opportunity to resolve it if they just had a conversation about maybe how to interact with each other as friends or at least civilly. So I do think that Teresa was trying to do the right thing there because they're both her friends and she wants to have, it would be beneficial for her to have more people in her corner getting along than not. Okay. So at that point, Dolores has to check Jennifer. Like, don't be yelling at her like that. Like the way you talking to Teresa right now, I don't really like it. And I told y'all, Teresa is slow to react. Okay, whether you like her or not. Okay, she's just not that fast with it, right? And again, that's okay because not everybody is that on it when it comes to like there's a conflict here. And the thing that I got from her in this episode was that whatever had happened with the whole Louis situation and Margaret and all that, I feel like that really did do a number on Teresa. Like this level of angst and anxiety and seeing these people constantly kind of go at it and then having to also do it. I can only imagine that on some level that does cause some level of inner turmoil and stress. So I get it, and I know that this video seems a bit more sympathetic to Teresa, but I simply am going on what we saw in the episode and how it made me feel. So, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. Overall, it wasn't a bad episode. The problem that I have is that I just feel like we're on a speeding train to nowhere because we know what is coming at the end, or at least we think we know. All right. So I think we only have about maybe two or three more episodes to go until it's a wrap. Um, we won't be getting a cash trip, so I just don't know what there is left to do or discuss. I'm ready for the finale. We could just get to that point at this point and just you know toss the rest of the season away and just start fresh with something new, like I don't know, in 2025. Okay. I do believe that the next show that we'll have coming out will be Salt Lake City, from my understanding, but we'll wait and see how that plays out. I'm hearing a trailer is coming soon, so be on the lookout for any and everything right now. All right. So with that being said, y'all, I will catch you, of course, in the next video. And if you are joining into our members only live Zoom call tonight for our birthday Ponderosa at 9 p.m., just be sure to tap into the membership community portal and I will post the link at 8 p.m. So you have up until 8 p.m. to actually join. And at that point in time, I think it'll be closed after that. So I will see the rest of you guys at 9 p.m. All right. And to everybody else, I love you. Thank you for staying in tune with the channel, tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and we will catch you in the next video.